where the center of gravity lies, if the pivot in the center of gravity are same, and in this case, if I disturb it, it may change its position, rotate a bit, but center of gravity doesn't change, it doesn't fall. It may take a new position, it may rotate and now stops in this position, something like that. But the center of gravity remains at its position. Center of gravity doesn't fall, doesn't rise or fall. So we can say in that case it is in neutral equilibrium. Remember, in stable equilibrium, center of gravity is below pivot. In unstable, center of gravity is above the pivot. And neutral, the center of gravity does not change. Stability of an object. Of an object depends on two factors. Stability of an object depends on two factors, and you are already familiar with it. One is the area of base. If an object has a larger base area, it is stable. Stable means it is difficult to topple it down. Like if I consider a block placed in this manner, and if I place same block in this manner. So, same block placed on a surface in two different ways. In first case, the area of the base is lesser as compared to the second case. The base area in contact with the ground in second case is larger, so we can say it is more stable. We cannot make it topple down. This one can be toppled. If I push it a little, it may fall. So stability depends on area of base. Secondly, stability of an object depends on the height of the center of gravity from the ground. In this case, its center of gravity is from here, center of gravity lies here. So in this case, center of gravity, the first object, the center of gravity is higher than the second. The second one is more stable. The center of gravity, when it is lower, it makes the object more stable. You have seen the sports car. To increase the stability of sport car, we make them lower. They are very low to the ground. So what the designers are doing, they are lowering their center of gravity as low as possible. And secondly, they are wide. So they increase the base area to make them more stable. If I consider different objects, suppose these two objects have same base area. So If I consider the stability, base area is same, but if I try to find center of gravity, its center of gravity lies somewhere here, and its center of gravity lies somewhere here. The second object, both objects have same base area, but the center of gravity of the second object is lower than the first. So we may say that it is more stable. The center of gravity, remember, normally lies at the center of the object. But if object is not of a regular shape, then we have to consider the center of mass. Center of mass or center of mass, we have to consider distribution of the mass in three directions at least. So point somewhere, if I consider the distribution of mass, so mass in the lower section is more and the upper section is lesser. That's why the center of gravity is lower in this case. In this case, the mass is same above or below the center of gravity. That's why the center of gravity is in the middle. So by considering the mass of the object, we can locate its center of gravity as well. The center of gravity or center of mass are almost same at this level, considering both are same. Let's solve a few problems related to the movement of force. Okay, stability depends on two factors. One is the area of the base, and another is the height of center of gravity from the surface or the ground. So these are two factors that we have to consider to decide which object is more stable. And this base area is least. So its center of gravity, its center of gravity. So two things I have to consider: the base area and center of gravity. Which is more stable object? Second one, because its center of gravity is lowest as compared to all four, and secondly, its base area is large. Base area of this object is large as well, but its center of gravity lies somewhere in the middle, but its mass concentrated at the lower section more, so its center of gravity is lower as compared to the others. The diagram shows a uniform balanced beam pivoted about its center. So it is pivoted about this point, O. This line represents the position of O. There are three forces acting on it to balance it. Force of 3 Newton at a distance of 6 cm from the center. Force of P at a distance of 32 cm from the center. 4 Newton force force at distance 2 centimeter from the center. So we have to find how much the force P is. For that purpose, we have to apply the principle of moments. For principle of moments, remember, sum of clockwise moments is equal to sum of anti-clockwise moments. If we have to see which forces are producing clockwise moment, definitely this force is producing clockwise moment, but this P is also producing clockwise moment. So moment produced by P will be P into the perpendicular distance between the pivot and P, that is 2 centimeter, plus moment produced by 4 Newton is 4 into 2 as well, the distance between the pivot and the force of 4 Newton. That is equal to force of 3 Newton is producing anti-clockwise moment. It is producing anti-clockwise moment, that is 3 into 6. So two forces P and 4 Newton are producing clockwise moment. Force of 3 Newton is producing anti-clockwise moment. So its distance from the pivot is 6 centimeter. So that's what I have taken. Normally we are supposed to use the standard units. The length should be in meters. Force should be in newtons. The force is already in newtons, but the length is in centimeters. We are supposed to convert them. But because it is an equation, if on both sides we are using the same unit, then it doesn't matter. Otherwise, we are supposed to change them into meters. So it will be 2p is equal to 3 6 are 18 and 4 2 are 8. If I shift this on the other side, we'll get 10 divided by 2. So P is equal to 5 Newton. This is how we apply the principle of moments to calculate a force or a distance when a bar or beam is balanced. So our answer is 5 Newton. We need 5 Newton force to balance it. Next, another example for you. We have a beam of length 40 centimeter, which is pivoted at this point. This is our pivot. A force is applied here, and this total distance, remember, it is 40 centimeter. There is a force of 4 Newton and 2 Newton, hence a force is here 10 centimeter, another force at 10 centimeter. The force of 2 Newton, another force of 4 Newton. An upward force U is needed to keep the beam horizontal. So this force is needed to keep this beam in the horizontal position in equilibrium. What is the size of U? The two forces are pulling the rod downward. About this pivot, it can rotate about this pivot. We need a U force U to keep it in horizontal position. So for that purpose, again, we are going to use principle of moments. I can see these two forces are producing clockwise moment and U is producing anti-clockwise moment. So anti-clockwise moment produced by U will be U into the distance of U from the pivot. That is 40 centimeter. And two forces which are producing clockwise moment are 4 and 2. This 2 Newton is a distance of 10 centimeter from pivot. Plus this 4 Newton force has a distance of 10 plus 10, 20 centimeter from the pivot. So U is equal to 100 divided by 40, that will be 2.5 Newton. So need a force of 2.5 Newton to keep this rod in balance position. Thank you very much. That's all for today.